What did you take back yesterday after the session? Few very important points I've spoken about. Mainly about listening, right? And I said, master is existence in human form. That is one thing we spoke about. And leaving your personality is real spirituality. That is one key point. And we were speaking about just being empty. And experiment before you doubt it or believe it. Both are two sides of same coin, doubt or belief. We were talking about that. First, we need to know that we don't know anything. Then, at least you'll know that you don't know. If you don't even know that you don't know, then you don't even know that you don't know. Understand? So today, few question and answers. A question was asked to Swamiji. Oh, but we are traveling towards knowing ourselves. So at this point, we may know partly. When Bhagavan is saying, you don't know anything about you, a person asks, we are traveling towards knowing ourselves. So at this point, we may know partly. Then Swamiji says, in a deep spiritual experience, there will be no traveling. It is a moment's experience, that's all. All our so-called knowing is only creating a space inside us towards fully knowing. But ultimately, in the deeper sense, either we know or we don't know. There's nothing called traveling. But when we know more and more, we will become clear that we don't know. That is enough. That will motivate us to really knowing. Please understand, in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which is the yoga of Arjuna's grief, Arjuna talks throughout, and Krishna just remains silent. It is only when Arjuna finally surrenders, saying, I know nothing, that he is at last ready to receive Krishna's message. Until then, Krishna doesn't speak. Although Krishna and Arjuna were friends, though there might have been hundreds of other more relaxed situations, it is only when he utters the words, I don't know, that he becomes qualified to know. Please understand, the basic condition for spiritual progress is to know very clearly that you don't know. This is the first step towards really knowing. So ask questions and make things clear for yourself and for others. Only if you ask questions, things can be worked out in a more practical way, in a way more adaptable to your life. See, some of us, we always think We may look like a fool if we ask some of our questions. Swamiji tells us, if we ask questions, we will only look like a fool. But if we don't ask questions, we will remain a fool. Understand? So if there is any concept that we don't agree with, we need to ask questions and clarify from Swamiji, isn't it? There's one more question one person asks. We are looking to destroy all our negativities and be reborn as a new person in these few days. This is a doubt from a seeker. Understand, there can be no destruction on planet Earth. There is always only transformation. All your so-called negative emotions like anger, jealousy, lust can be transformed into positive emotions like pure love, gratitude, and compassion. Society always teaches you to divide and destroy yourself. It never teaches you to become integrated. It literally places a wedge inside you, between you and you, so that it can take control of you. It always talks to you in the language of lower and higher. It makes you think that you are inferior and makes you fight with yourself. We always feel that, isn't it? On many occasions. Understand, society can rule you only if you are made to feel chaotic inside yourself. So it first makes you feel that you are no good and then comes up with remedies for it. That is why you start talking in this kind of inferior language. A small story. A man was suffering from a common cold. Okay. He visited the doctor and asked for medicine. It was just an ordinary cold. The doctor looked at him for a while and said, do one thing, just go out for some time in the night and get the chill wind to touch you, then come back. The patient was shocked. He said, but doctor, I will catch pneumonia if I do that. The doctor said, yes, I can cure pneumonia in no time. You understood? Society makes you become something and then teaches you ways to come out of it. So this is the way society exposes us to chill and then treats us. Come on. There is no higher or lower. There is no good or bad. There is only transformation. When you learn to look in with awareness, automatically you will be transformed. This is always the master's approach. He never divides you. He always integrates you. He teaches you to look in and integrate. The master never tells you that you are negative. There is no negative. What you call negative and positive are just two extremes of the same spectrum. Understand, negative is not any physical entity for you to destroy. If you transform, you move in the spectrum towards higher positive energies. That's all. As I said earlier, this transformation is possible if you are just open and receptive to what is happening here in the session itself. One more question. We have read, generally seekers have, we have read in many books that our mind is nothing but Maya or illusion, and that all our questions are only an illusion. Please, can you tell us something about this? I want to know. We'll always feel this, isn't it? Understand, the famous question about Maya is asked one more time. First thing, don't confuse yourself with complicated reading. Second thing, see, understand guys, when we are in some program or a darshan or something, with all this knowledge and book reading, we always judge, even Bhagavan, even the darshan, even his response, even his decoration, even his clothes, even his throne, everything. Because we have a certain ideology through all this reading and all that. Second thing, understand very clearly that there is nothing to be understood with the mind. The mystery of life cannot be solved with your mind. You cannot know the purpose of your life with your mind. That is why they say that your mind is an illusion. Please understand, the first step to solving the mystery of our life is dropping your mind. If you allow your mind to play, you will continue to play. That's all. Life after life, you will play. Your deep inner thirst will remain unquenched. Probably your seeker ego will get fulfilled, but that is of no use. You will become only more confused inside you. That's all, isn't it? Try to move your center of operation from your mind to your heart or being. If you operate with your mind as the center, questions and more questions will follow. With questions, you cannot know. Only with awareness, you can know. If you operate with your heart, awareness, and understanding, a proper understanding will happen in you, and then automatically your questions will start dissolving. Like when the sun rises, the darkness simply disappears. Oh, I think somebody is calling me for a link. Just a moment. Sorry about that. New people, somebody from Gujarat. See, understand, when awareness happens in you, understanding will happen and your questions will dissolve. You will start understanding things even before you come to the question. In this way, the questions will dissolve. It is difficult to understand this. But once you get an experience of it, you will know exactly what I mean by awareness. Questions will disappear and understanding will continuously engulf you. Many of you must have attended a lot of Swamiji's programs. You must have known. Many times, Swamiji comes up with a topic and he says question and answer session. You won't believe. Then I'll always wonder. He'll say, ask question. Ask any question. I'll always wonder, what question should I ask? There's no question, there's no answer. There's nothing there. Understand? What will you ask? If you understand this much, you need not worry about Maya or illusion. In addition to intellectual understanding from my words, meditation can help you switch to the mode of awareness easily. We can talk for hours about Maya and illusion, but you will only get more confused. Instead, it is worthwhile learning the solutions that will help us to live intelligently. That is enough. One thing I want to tell you, Maya or illusion is everything that your mind projects. So that is why I say, don't bother about knowing Maya. Instead, start living. Start living with more awareness, more consciously. Then the question of Maya itself will not be relevant. You will see many groups, even in Facebook, everywhere, Maya, Maya, it talks about Maya. Delusion, illusion, Maya. We don't have to worry about Maya. Just we need to live with awareness more consciously. That's all. As I said earlier, bliss is continuously happening in us. This is the actual truth. But we continuously stop the flow of bliss. And as a result, we suffer. I request all of you, actually, don't miss sessions. You know why? See, today, whatever I'm speaking is a continuation of yesterday. So suddenly people who joined today, it's actually totally somewhat it looks very odd for you to understand whatever I'm speaking. Because everything is connected with each other. I don't know how many days this is going to take. Maybe next 15 days or 20 days. Every day we'll be having sessions, satsangs. Just 1 hour a day. That's it. Not more. Just that 1 hour is enough. If you are empty and in listening space, 1 hour is enough to manifest health, wealth, relationship, whatever. Spiritual growth and that and this, everything. Many people I know, they'll be attending Swamiji's classes. They'll be asking, who is my guru? If anybody has that kind of confusion, who's your real guru? All that will be answered. Just you need to listen. That's all. Everything will be clarified on its own. As I said, when you're moving to higher understandings, things will be cleared, clarified, even without you asking or me answering. So as I shared before, yesterday, bliss is continuously happening inside us. This is the actual truth. But we continuously stop the flow of bliss. And as a result, we suffer. Understand, bliss is not something that you can get from outside and keep inside yourself. No, it is your inherent nature. When you arrive in this world, you are in a state of bliss. As society conditions you, you move far away from it. Then you start searching for ways outside of yourself to get it back. So we will see now how to stop the stopping of bliss. Continuously, we are stopping our bliss, isn't it? Now, how to stop that? When I say bliss, I don't mean the ordinary happiness that we feel in our everyday lives. Ordinary happiness is a result of something that happens outside. Some happy occasion, some material benefit, some happy news, some relationship that worked out, something to do with a person or a thing in the outside world. That is our regular happiness we go through. This kind of happiness is purely dependent on the people and circumstances outside of us. And this kind of happiness is what leads us to sadness also. Because people and circumstances keep changing. They won't fit into our frame, isn't it? They are not the same also every day. Their behavior is different at different times. And when their behavior changes, our happiness changes too. But the bliss that we are talking about is different. It is purely a state inside yourself. It's a state inside yourself, which is in no way connected to outer world incidents. It is your core, your permanent state. When you find this, you'll become a blissful watcher of the outer world. You will definitely participate in it fully, but without losing your bliss. That is the beauty. A small story. There was an old man in a family who could not be pleased at any cost. He remained stubborn and grumpy, no matter how much his family tried to keep him in good spirits. His children, grandchildren would come and visit him and try to cheer him up, but he would remain grumpy. Suddenly, one day, he became very gentle and cheerful. Naturally, his family was surprised at the sudden transformation. His granddaughter asked him, "Grandpa, how come you have changed so suddenly?" The old man replied, "All my life, I tried my best to get a contented mind, but never succeeded. So I have decided to be contented with it now." That's it. Understand? Just a decision. Because everything is a projection of our mind. We can decide how we want to be. It is all in the mind. With the help of our mind, we have stopped the flow of bliss from within. And that is the truth. That is the truth. Understand? There is a universal consciousness that fills the entire cosmos, and there is an individual consciousness that fills us And man's whole purpose is to establish a connection between these two. When this connection happens, man is said to be enlightened or in eternal bliss or in Nithyananda. Nithyananda means eternal bliss. Through listening to all the great masters' words and practicing all the meditation techniques, we become more and more aware of this connection and try to experience it. Because once the connection happens, everything becomes easy in the inner and outer world. See, understand, old devotees, they might have attended ASP, NSP, all these kind of classes. They might think, "Arey, why we are again handling chakras? We did that long time." Yes, we did it, but did we get enlightened with that class? No, no. We are in the same place again. So then we have to listen again. After listening this time, if we are in the same place again, what should we do? Again, attend again. Isn't it? If we attended, we heard it. If we listened, then by now we should have got enlightened. That means what? We never listened. We only heard. Understand? So if any of you already handled chakras, that, this, that, don't feel you're doing the same thing again. Today again it's fresh. Because we are in the same place again. Understand? Anyhow, there are two types of people. Those who fight with others and win, and those who fight with themselves and win. It is easy to fight with others. It is not a big deal, but it is difficult to fight with yourself. It is difficult to be ferocious with yourself. When Swamiji says, many times you must have heard, be ferocious, people will think ferocious means blah, 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 blasting other people. No. Being ferocious with yourself, with your patterns, with your doubts, and breaking them. It is difficult to fight with yourself. When you are courageous, you will fight with yourself and you will win. You will destroy what you are not and emerge as a blissful being, and you will flower. Because you are that actually. That is your true state. The greatest challenge for man is to realize his entire potentiality. Actually, we have high potential, but we don't realize that because we carry so many impossibilities, because we work with mind. That's why we think this is not possible, that is not possible. But that's not true. We should realize our entire potentiality. This can be done only when we move inwards and keep purifying ourselves again and again until we become intelligent enough not to gather more. Actually, the word Swami means one who has realized his full potential. All our difficulties on planet Earth are because we are not able to realize our potentiality. There is a saying that goes, the lion that is not allowed to be a lion will become a fox. If we are not allowed to realize our true potential energy, we will start expressing it in a wrong way, either self-destructive or destroying others. So the creative energy, the potential energy should be allowed to express itself in a free-flowing way. Society should allow us. That is one thing. And we should also know the technique to express it. Swami means a man who has realized his potential power, who is expressing himself as he is, who is completely in tune with his being, who is blissful. You have tremendous potential in you. Time and again, psychologists and mystics have said that man is not living up to his full potential. So where are we missing it? Where are we stuck? Why are we not able to realize our full potentiality? You know, many times when we are in a job,
Recording in progress.
when we are in a job or something in a profession, and we need a huge amount of money, we always think we are capable only of that job. Only that gateway is there for that money to come. But that's not true. If we really realize our potentiality, we have many gates, many doorways. So where we are stuck, our idea about ourselves, that we are capable only of that gateway, is an obstacle, isn't it? We need the courage to let go and explore. That's all. Here we are stuck. Understand? We will then know the answers to all these questions. When you start exploring sincerely, you will experience a shift in consciousness, and this shift will open a space in you where you flower. When you flower, you become a king. You will live like a lord on this planet. People may have all the possible comforts, money, knowledge, and what not, but they will remain beggars if they have not found their inner space. To find your being is to become rich. Inner richness is real richness. Hey, just observe. You know, go out with your friends or somebody for some dinner. You know, nowadays we go a lot, dinners and, restaurants and all this, right? That kind of lifestyle. Just observe what the whole group around you, means whether you're friends or family or whoever, what is the real conversation they're having? You will see there is no depth in the conversation. There's no depth. My God, I can't sit 5 minutes. The other day, I went to some dinner. First time, me and my husband, he took me somewhere and I went. First time I was meeting somebody. Whole group of people were sitting. They were chatting. I was also chatting with them. But somewhere that awareness, right? Whatever Swamiji taught us. God, I was so drained. I came back into the car and I was like, what is going on? There was no meaning. There was no depth in any conversation. Why, Because the richness is missing in your inner space. You don't have to speak too many things. Even if you utter a normal word, it will be rich if you are rich in your inner space. I was like, I couldn't forget it actually. I was like going on and on. I was like, what did you? Then suddenly his cousin's husband came, I don't have much interaction with him. But I just opened up. I just said, what did you have conversation? Did you have any depth in that? I was just attacked him directly. In a nice way, but because I couldn't stop myself. I thought, what happened to us? What happened to people? What is going on? What are we having conversation about? See, I don't mean only talking about spirituality is conversation. No, I'm not talking about that. Even if you're talking about cooking, even if you're talking about some beauty contest, even if you're talking about some jewelry, there should be richness in that, depth in that. That's what I mean. Taste in that. See, many times you'll see, all of you must have observed in programs, Swamiji when gives question and answer session. Understand, Swamiji is sitting there ready to pour, but we are not capable enough to ask a valid question. Our questions are so silly. Many times when I hear the questions, oh my God, what kind of questions you're asking Bhagavan? What answer he will give? Whenever he opens a question and answer session, he really expects something, some deep question so that he will answer for 1 hour for one question. He'll pour. But unfortunately, our questions are so silly. What will he speak? Many times I see question and answer sessions are cancelled. Understand, if we don't find our inner space, we will remain beggars, no matter how wealthy we are, how knowledgeable we are, no matter what. Inner richness is real richness. We have become so engaged with what goes on outside that we remain completely ignorant of our inner space. Actually, our life around us will show how rich we are inside us. If we are failing continuously in something, then we have to look in. Where are we missing? What are we missing? If we are not healthy, if we are not wealthy, we have to look in. What is going on inside us? If somebody is continuously cheating us, we always blame other person who's cheating us. No, we are the ones who has to be blamed, isn't it? We've completely become ignorant of our inner space. We are so caught up in the outer world adventure that we miss the wonderful adventures of the inner world. We miss what the great rishis and masters experienced in their lives. This experience is what I want to share with all of you. Hey, I tell you, on the name of enriching, on the name of so many things, we go on, talk to people. Array, we don't have to. Just ask them, come and sit in a session. Let them hear the real teachings of Swamiji. Over. Enriching is already happened. It's taken care of. Because the moment transformation happens inside, they're already enriched, isn't it? We don't need a person to enrich. just by hearing these concepts, these techniques, these teachings. Over. Just give me a moment, one moment.
Recording stopped.
Sorry about that. Yeah. Anyhow, somebody asked Swamiji one more question. How would you define spirituality in a nutshell? Somebody asked. Swamiji answered that, hey, Betty, spirituality is nothing but the flowering of four things in you. If you want translation in Spanish, you can ask somebody, maybe, I don't know, Istak is busy maybe. She can come, or anybody can come and translate. Live translation, Spanish. Spirituality is nothing but the flowering of four things in you, Swamiji says. What is it? Physical health, mental health, smooth interpersonal relationships, and the ability to respond spontaneously. And what is that? Ability to respond spontaneously is what is called as responsibility. These are the four things which is called as spirituality, which shows your spirituality. Physical health is being free from disease. When you visit a doctor, he should give you a report saying that you are clinically all right. The second, mental health, is being free from all subconscious and deeply engraved negative thought patterns, and being free from worries, pain, jealousy, discontentment, ego, lust, etc. That is when it is called as mental health. Third, interpersonal relationships means what? Having a smooth relationship with everyone around you. It is not enough if you are just cordial with everyone. You should be able to go through any amount of interaction with any kind of person without feeling pressure or pain. The moment you feel pressure or pain, it means that there is some block inside you, some block in your mental health. Understand? Oh God, if you see this, we are not healthy in any angle. Isn't it? That means we are not spiritual in any angle. We are only thinking we are spiritual. The fourth, the ability to respond spontaneously. What Swamiji calls it as responsibility. Please understand, when you are able to take on responsibility, when you are able to say yes to anything spontaneously, you will expand that very moment and energy will flow through you to accomplish it. Of course, it is up to you to use that energy to accomplish that task. When you keep doing this, you will keep expanding, expanding, expanding. So if these four things flower in you, then you are spiritual. So be very clear, everyone. In all these four things, if we are perfectly healthy, only then we are spiritual. That means, as of now, the state we are in, we are not really spiritual. Understand? And when this happens, when this flowering happens, it does not matter which profession you are in, or whether you are married or unmarried, or whether you are young or old, you are a sannyasi, grihastha, it doesn't matter. This is what Swamiji said. And one more question a person asked, what would you say about eating vegetarian food and eating non-vegetarian food? First thing, don't go around telling others not to eat non-vegetarian food. In departments unknown, it is better not to involve yourself and get into trouble. Certain issues cannot be resolved by logically reasoning. If we tell people not to eat non-vegetarian food, they will ask you that, like animals, plants also have life. And why are we eating plants? People ask me, my own family members will ask me. What will you tell them? There's no end to this subject. This much I can tell you. The human body, right from the teeth, is designed for chewing and digesting only vegetarian food. We eat vegetarian food because it is conducive to our bodies. We have to eat vegetarian food because it is conducive to our bodies. There have been many masters who ate non-vegetarian food. Of course, when enlightened masters do certain things, we cannot pass judgment on them because their actions cannot be interpreted by our common dictionary. Because we will be misconstruing and missing the whole thing. Just one thing, don't categorize people based on their eating habits. And don't force people to give up eating non-vegetarian food. Understand? A small story. At the time the television was introduced in India, when it was introduced, a new television was bought in a certain house of people. All except one person used to watch the programs on the television. The person who never watched the television used to go to the president of the house and complain about how the others were watching television for so many hours. After he complained a few times, the president told him, you too should watch television from tomorrow. The man was shocked and asked, why? The president replied, You are not happy not watching. And so you are grumbling about them. You have the desire to watch, but you don't watch it because you want to feel solid inside yourself. But this suppression is causing you to complain. You see, if you are not completely happy abstaining from eating non-vegetarian food, you will end up compelling others to become vegetarians. Only when you are into something totally, you will never force another person to do it. When you are doing it with a doubt or half-heartedly, you will pull other people also into it. This is the scale to see if you are in something totally or not. When you are total, you are enough unto yourself with no regrets. So you will not trouble anyone else. You will allow them to have their freedom. In fact, I would go on to say that those who eat non-vegetarian food for 1 hour a day and forget about it are better off than those who eat vegetarian food and think about non-vegetarian food 24 hours a day. Hey, nobody is suggesting to eat non-vegetarian here. It's just that we shouldn't force people. First, we need to be a total vegetarian, isn't it? We should be in totality. That's what Swamiji is expressing here. A small story. A Zen master was walking with his disciple towards his city. On the way, there was a river and a beautiful woman was standing near it. When she saw them, she requested the master to help her cross the river. The master promptly carried her to the other side of the river, left her there and returned. The disciple was totally disturbed by what he saw. He was burning inside. As they walked along towards the city, he couldn't resist asking, Master, how can you, as a master, touch and carry a young girl? The master replied, I left her there long back. Why are you still carrying her? Masters always answer the question here. Who is asking the question? Never the question itself. In this story, the master could have as well explained to the disciple that to an enlightened person, it is beyond gender. But he did not explain like that. He made the disciple understand that the block was in the disciple's mind, not the master's act. If you feel you cannot give up non-vegetarian food without craving for it, eat until it drops on its own. Please understand, this does not mean that I'm advocating non-vegetarian food. For us, vegetarian food is conducive, so we eat it. If you wish to adopt this kind of life, become vegetarian. That's all. But don't give it up and crave for it because it's 100 times worse. And don't torture other people also to give it up. We all take up small issues like vegetarianism and contemplate on it for hours together. That is the problem. There are 3 categories under which we can fall. First would be not to eat non-vegetarian food and not to think about it. The second category would be to eat it and forget about it. The third category would be not to eat it yourself, but feel deprived and hence torture people around not to eat it as well. Please don't fall in the third category. You know, many times when somebody becomes a new disciple of Swamiji, we all are vegetarians, right? Swamiji's disciple. Oh, Swamiji said vegetarian. That's it. They'll go on forcing spouse, everybody around them. Because you know what? Half of it, they can't control themselves. That's why. Because when other people in the house are eating, they feel deprived. They keep forcing. So what Swamiji is saying, not eating and torturing others and feeling deprived, that's not okay. Don't eat, forget about it. Or eat and forget about it. So today, we'll end our session with so many questions. If there are any more questions or anything else, we will continue tomorrow. Okay. Anybody who does not have my contact number, who's not receiving the link or something, I'll put my number here. You can note it. I've put it in the chat box. So all of you, please return back tomorrow again, 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, every day, just 1 hour. This is just a satsang and we are just discussing. That's it. Thank you all. And let me give a healing one to everyone. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let every one of us on the screen be healed. Also, all the people who are listening in the social media platforms live, let every one of us be healed. Let all the obstacles be removed. And let all our desires become into reality. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sadguru Padarpanamastu. Om Nityanandam. So, let us meet tomorrow. Bye-bye. See you all. Nice seeing you all every day. Bye.